Stewart?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Just to be clear, I mean, this bonus would, it would go to it would also go to council members as well?
No, won't go to council.
Okay. And,
And we call it, it's something, not a bonus. That's important.
okay. And looking at years past, it looked like we had, 2011, we had done a $22,340 bonus. 2012, we had done $44,850, and this year we're doing $57,700. Was that the amount? My problem with this is that a business that is consistently over $500,000 in the red can't afford to give bonuses. They go bankrupt eventually. So because this wasn't in the budget for 2016, and this is, we're adding on all this additional funding, we gave our EMS captains, attendants, FTOs, paramedics a pay raise recently, and I cannot financially justify allocating these funds when we're running over a $500,000 deficit.
Okay. Ms. Anderson?
I have mixed emotions regarding the Christmas bonus or supplement, as you would call it. I don't know the difference between the two. I don't know what definition you're giving between the two of them. But I do feel like all of the employees deserve to have something, because for the past 2 years, we have not been able to give them some added salary. A cost of living raise is what we would usually call it. And we did give some employees some raises, so I have a problem with giving those individuals who got a raise in July some extra, where there were other people who did not get any. We are juggling a ball that really is going to be a time bomb, but I really feel like they deserve something, because we have done a couple of things to shoot ourselves in the foot. Like the insurance we had, and we prolonged that out when we could be receiving some of those funds now. And we are going to move this pay in the red until July 1 comes. I really would like to see us really designate a fund where we are getting the money from. I don't know how we can do it right now, so I guess it's wrong to bring up something you can't think of. But I really would like to see us get the money from somewhere. I know it's from some department will run in the black, because they will have some vacancies during some time. I understand that, but I don't know if it would cover all of the amount that we're asking. So I would just rather have a fund that we were getting the money out of.
We do have a contingency fund,
I would rather.
approximately, Lisa here, you know what the balance of that fund is, by any chance?
Pardon me?
You know what the balance of the contingency fund is, by any chance? Right now?
The budget for the contingency fund was $125,000, I believe, and I think we've only spent about $8,000 of that.
Okay, so we got a balance there of about 110 or so, and that's about the only source we have that I can think of. Can you think of anything else?
No, sir, but as a clarification, I'm running the salaries through the individual department salaries account. It makes it easier for us to account for during not only the audit, but also with all of our tax reporting and retirement reporting, if we have all of that captured in the salary accounts as opposed to the contingency account.
I understand where you're coming from, but I just really would feel better with it coming out of a designated pot, and that we have that money on hand and not necessarily causing the department to run in the red to the end. Because if they in the red in the end, the money's gonna have to come back out of the contingency anyway. Come from somewhere.
It would come from the reserves, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I would rather for it to come from whatever we already have. That's my position at this time. but I want the employees to receive something.
Mr. Garrett? Mr. Van
Yes, sir. During the holiday season, I think it is important to remember the employees of the county that help us do our job and provide them with some kind of incentive. My only issue after looking at the numbers and seeing the amount that it's going to cost to give each employee an actual $100 after taxes, it seems a little excessive, especially due to the budgetary issues we're having now. I do want to say I'm not opposed to giving some kind of incentive, but I think this number is a little excessive.
Mr. Pitt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a few comments. First of all, I cannot remember or recall how many employees were affected by our policy to not pay the funds for the health insurance if they were covered by a spouse. We had several employees that actually took a pay cut from that. I do recognize what Mr. Jones said, that we are running a deficit budget right now. I do recognize that. I also recognize that the morale of county employees is important and crucial. So we have to weigh, I believe, those two options. And that is a difficult thing to do when you're running a deficit budget. And I understand and recognize that. And the only thing, I think it was clarified by Ms. Anderson that it would be coming from the contingency fund, and those are my only comments at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I look at it as, our employees are our most important asset. And, we all recall when we went through budget session, our employees and our department heads came up with almost $400,000 in budget savings. They're willing to try to save money. I just feel it'll be a good gesture and good for the morale of the county this is not what you'd call something that's going to happen the next week. It's just a one-time thing. It's not a repetitive situation, so, and we have got a pretty good size savings. I know we have to spend money out of savings, but like I said, I feel like our employees are our most important asset. And I'm all in favor of it, but I'll ask for it. If anybody would make a motion on it, I'll ask for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to give all the employees, full-time and part-time, $100 bonus, Christmas bonus for the year.
All right, we're gonna call it a supplement. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second the motion, using the term supplement, but also want to add that $100 would be on their check, so there would be some additional tax and other monies there, so it's not to be at $100. But given the amount of, what do we say, $57,700.
All right, I'm gonna call for the vote. All in favor?
I like to amend that, in that it comes out of the contingency fund. I really don't like us to use it out of the department. I really feel like if you want to give them the money, you ought to have a place from where you're getting it. And we're getting it out of the contingency fund. Eventually, it would have to come out of that anyway. So I feel like that's what we need to say is coming from. If you,
Only issue there is we'll cut that fund in half with 9 to 10 months fiscal year left. That's the only issue I'd raise on that.
When it all boils down, it's all coming out of the same pot of money. And
Basically, that's right.
so, I know it's gonna bring it down, but, if it's gonna bring, it's gonna come down anyway, so it's.
what am I gonna do here with the
Mr. Nash would have to amend his motion.
You would have to accept her amendment or
Accept my
second of her
amendment and vote on the amendment first.
Mr. Knight, you said the
I don't
amendment.
understand the amendment.
She wants to take the $57,700 out of our line item contingency fund for the county. We've got $125,000 budget left in 15-16 county budget. That fund is used basically for emergencies, for unforeseen things. We have had as high as $200,000. We cut it this year, try, and what we're talking about, try to bring the budget in best balance we could.
You go the other route and just bring it out of the budget for each department. It just basically run a little deficit at the end of the year with it.
But still, it's coming out of the contingency fund in the end.
I'll second Ms. Anderson's
It's coming, you have to
motion
have
for a
money.
vote.
You
Okay,
have to have money.
The amendment's been seconded, so you vote on the amendment first.
Yes, sir.
okay, we've got a motion on the table to amend Ted's motion to take this $57,000 out of the contingency fund. All in favor?
I want some discussion, Mr. Chairman. The contingency fund is setting, not that I oppose taking out a contingency, exactly what you said. It doesn't matter where it comes from, it's all gonna be the same pot of money in the end. The accounting portion of that, still ends up the same at the end.
The only issue, the other thing I would say is that cut that fund in half.
My concern with that
8 or 9
fund
months, it's more in the red too, so.
are we gonna end up dipping into that contingency fund as we move into our new offices for some office supplies, or we still on budget for that? That's the only thing that I can foresee, that'd be no problem. I understand we're on budget, actually under budget for the office.
Any other questions? Well, all in favor to amend?
The way I'm looking at it, let me get this so I can say it. If it's come out the contingency fund, that means you got a half of it, you got a, whatever, if it's $100,000 in the contingency fund, if you take 50,000 out, you only got 50,000 left, so you can't use any more than what you have. At least you know what you have left over,
That's true.
and you cannot use any more than what you have. So if you try to use what you have, you're gonna go more in the red. So you have a starting point to know you can't use any more than what you have.
Unless there are unforeseen emergencies that we can't predict between now and the end of June.
Well, we just better hope we don't have any. That's the whole thing we can do.
Okay, we're gonna take a vote on the amendment in the second to take the money out of the contingency fund. All in favor, raise your right hand. Four, all opposed? Abstain? Ted, how'd you vote?
I suppose you give them $100 and not mix it up around with it. Take taxes out of it. I want to know they got a little something.
This is,
But you voted to take the taxes out of the $100 they give us, so.
We get 4 or 5 votes for the motion.
huh?
Get 4 votes for the motion.
Yeah.
That passes.
So we,
Now you vote on the motion for the $100.
okay,
That was
and
the
it's gonna
source.
come out of the contingency fund.
The contingency is the source of funds. Now you vote on Ted's motion to give them a net $100.
All in favor of Ted's motion to give each employee $100, raise your right hand.
A net $100.
I thought that's just what we voted on. We voted on.
Where did you vote on source?
Oh, where we get it from, all right.
All right, I didn't see the hands. Everybody, all in favor, raise your right hand.
Yeah, seven.
6-1.
That's 6, all opposed,
Sorry,
1
Steve.
opposed. I certainly appreciate that, and I certainly appreciate all employees are gonna appreciate it. And it's gonna come back to us, what I tell you. It'll come back to us.